Hey guys. So if you're on, say hello. Let me update my chat settings real quick. There we go. I'm gonna adjust my camera a little. Wait till a bunch of you are on, then I'll give my quick update. It's gonna be a quick live. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I did post a new video if you haven't checked it out. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel so you can see all my videos and updates. I did post a new video this evening about how to deal with toxic family members during the holiday. So for any of you who are struggling with that situation and you just want some tips and tricks on how to deal with family members who might be less than easy to deal with, please check out my newest video. Also, feel free to share it on social media such as Facebook. There's a lot of people out there who might need that message, and I'm just a little bit late delivering it, but I still wanted to make sure I get that posted so that for those of you who have asked me for some guidance going through the holidays with some toxic people in your life, I did want to address that. So I did make that video. And also on my last live, we talked about cranberry sauce and making cranberry sauce, and I wanted to give you guys a quick update on that. I did go ahead and make my own cranberry sauce, and I put some orange zest in it. It's delicious. And it was a win, so I was pretty excited. So you guys encouraged me to do something outside my comfort zone. I did it, and it was a win. I also took some cranberries and made a cranberry orange cake. I have not tried the cake yet. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'll let you guys know how that goes tomorrow after dinner. So we'll see how it goes. What else do I need to update? I think that's about it for my updates about randoms. But be sure to check out that new video and share it so that friends and family members who are struggling these holidays, during the holidays, can kind of have some resources to be able to get through that. So when I was growing up, I always had to be around toxic family members. As a child, it was just a toxic situation in general. So I feel like I have a lot of experience navigating toxic situations and also coming out on the other side with my dignity and also my sanity. So, you know, holidays are definitely hard. Some people choose to continue to go to holiday events, even though it might not be the best thing for you. I personally have separated myself from toxic people, and so we actually do the holidays with just us and the kids, and it is so relaxing and just so much better for all of us. And we're just a lot happier. We're a lot happier because we're used to each other, we're around each other all the time, and so there's no real surprises or hot topics discussed. So yeah, and we're definitely in it for the food. I mean, yeah, definitely, I agree with that. I also love the food, and it makes for a good holiday, right? So I think I did a quick update yesterday regarding Robbie, and so I just wanted to touch base again. He's supposed to call me tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited about that. And he seems to be doing a lot better, and I think I've decided on a book that I want to send to him for a Christmas present, and is a really helpful resource that's a little bit different from the therapeutic information that he's been receiving. So I think I decided on a book for him. If you guys have any good suggestions on books for entitled individuals, I think that they would be helpful, and I'll consider them for sure. But I have thought about it, and I definitely want to give him things that I feel like will be helpful for him moving forward. What's up? Okay. I have a Bambino in the background just staring me down, so I didn't know if he needed something. But yeah, so I think I've decided on, I want to make sure that I'm not enabling him, but I also want to make sure I'm supporting him, and I want to make sure that I'm giving him gifts that are going to be leaving a lasting impression, and they're going to be good for him and helpful. I don't want to feed that sense of entitlement by giving him things that he wants all the time, and I promised him that I would never enable him, and that was really important between the two of us. We discussed me not being a yes person, but me being somebody who will always be honest with him, always be forthcoming with him, but I certainly won't enable him. And if I think he needs to hear the word no, then I'm going to tell him no, and he knows that. So that's something him and I talked about. He's actually made a really healthy decision to remove certain people from his life that he feels are enablers, because he's thought long and hard about it, and he doesn't want to see himself going to jail over not learning the word no. So him and I had some really in-depth conversations about these things, and I'm very hopeful that he will make forward progress and that he'll just continue to grow and work on these things. So yeah, so I'm really hopeful when it comes to him and his treatment and where he's at right now. So we'll kind of see how it plays out. We'll see if he sticks with his decisions or if he's kind of back and forth. And based off of that, we'll kind of gauge where we're at and reevaluate. But we'll continue to have those tough talks together and just be open with one another, be transparent with one another. He's still addressing his concerns that he has at this point. One of the biggest things for him is he doesn't have thoughts and urges as long as he's not around children. So we've talked a lot about how he can live a life that does not revolve around being around children, and he can keep himself safe and he can keep children safe. So yeah, we've definitely had some hard conversations that were really important to have, but I really do feel like he's trying at this point and that he's putting in the work needed to at least complete this program. What will happen next? I don't know. We'll have to kind of wait until he completes his treatment, and then we'll see what their next decision is. But that's where we're at. So, so they have a full school at the program, and so he goes to school every single day. So I definitely have my concerns from, so you can't hear from him because he's in treatment and he's not allowed a cell phone or any devices. He was allowed to watch videos on my channel. It was a special request and he was able to watch them and give us feedback, but he's in treatment and doesn't have access to YouTube, and so you haven't heard from him and you probably won't hear from him for quite some time. But he is doing well. He's making progress, so we're going to focus on that. And what was the other question? I do worry about manipulation. I do worry that perhaps he's telling me what I want to hear and not what he should be telling me. And that's a concern I addressed with him. And I told him he's broken my trust a few times. And so it's very hard to just trust that he is being honest with me and not telling me what I want to hear. And I said it's going to take a long time for him to rebuild my trust. It's going to take a lot of action and not just words. And over time, I want to see him improve. I want to see him get better, and I'd like to see him continue to grow. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens and see how he handles himself and how he moves forward. And ultimately, that's how he's going to prove whether or not he is sincere and not manipulating. Because I'm, by no means am I stupid. By no means am I falling for manipulation. And I'm not naive to think that he's not still capable of being manipulative, but I generally can see the signs, and I'm very cautiously optimistic at this point. When he turns 18, he'll still be mandated, and possibly at 21 as well. So he'll continue to be mandated as long as they feel he needs treatment and is not fully recovered. He'll continue to be mandated and sentenced. And yes, we are talking about Robbie right now. So yeah, so just because he turns 18 or 21 does not mean that he won't be mandated. It just means that those are stepping stones. I know at this point they plan to keep him under treatment until at least 21. That's been the talk, but that could change at any minute. So honestly, I'm not sure. So there's definitely treatment and a chance for him to be successful with his treatment because he was young when he started treatment. So the earlier you can get somebody into treatment, the more success they have of never reoffending. And so there's definitely a possibility of him being recovered. And I've also spoken to people who offended as children, and then as adults they never offended, and they're 56 years old now and they have never reoffended. So I mean, I have hope that there is treatment that can make this successful. I have hope that he can be rehabilitated. Yes, we are all well. So it's not up to me on whether or not to release him out onto his own. That is up to the state. At this point, he faced his charges for offending, and so therefore he is state mandated and he's in treatment right now. It's not jail, as some people think, but it is a treatment center, and it is a pretty high level treatment center, and so he's doing that, and whatever they decide ultimately with our input is what happens. So during his treatment, he has to work a full program. I know he has many steps in the program that he has to work in order to complete it. It's roughly an 11-month program. He's about halfway through it. He has been making progress and doing the work, and so all of that is good on paper. We did have a huge hiccup with his previous therapist. She was not a good fit for him, and she was an enabler. And so she has since been removed, and he did receive a new therapist. So I'm very hopeful when it comes to his new therapist. I seem to connect with her, and she seems more well fit for dealing with him personally, because outside of his illness, you would never know that he had it, because he is just the sweetest kid in the entire world. And so he is so easily able to manipulate people with just his heart, because he has the biggest heart, and he really is a sweet person. So she was well aware that we have concerns surrounding a relationship that he had, and she went ahead and told him that if he felt like he wanted to reach out and have a relationship with that individual who may have offended on him, that she gave him her blessing. And so that's a huge red flag, and even his PO was very upset, and there's just been several situations where she said things in front of him to me, and she would say in front of him, your parents aren't going to ever allow you to come home. So that was a very big red flag and concern for me when it came to his therapist, because it's not up to us whether or not he ever returns home. Unfortunately, legally, he's never allowed to return home. So when she would say things like that in front of him, it would create tension and cause him to feel like we were keeping him from coming home versus the realistic, like what's really going on, which is he's never allowed to come home. It's not even an option legally. And so she would say different things like that in front of him. And then she would also tell him that if I would get angry or upset, that I wasn't being as supportive as I could be. And she would say things like, Mom, that you shouldn't be angry about that anymore. It happened a while ago. You need to let it go. And I said, you shouldn't tell me what I should be angry about or what I should be upset about. I'm talking to my son. I'm going to work through this with my son. These are expectations I had. These are things he promised me. These are things he lied about. These are things him and I need to work through. Whether or not she felt like I had the right to be upset, the therapist is who I'm talking about, it was not up to her. And quite frankly, I was being a parent. And then at one point she said, because he was mandated into treatment, that I no longer had to parent. And so she said, my job was just to be supportive. And so I said, I will never not be a parent first, and I will never enable my child. So I will support him, but I will support him in a way that makes sense, that is setting him up for success, and that is going to challenge him, and it's going to encourage him to think healthier, to think better, more positive, and to just encourage him to be a better version of himself each and every single day so that he can beat this thing. I said, I am his parent. Whether you want me to parent him or not parent him, I will always parent first. That is my job. That is my commitment. That is what I agreed to the day I married his father. I accepted him as my own, and I will always parent first. So her and I were just constantly butting heads. She thought she had some pull. She was always creating tension, and it was just a really rough situation, and I was just very unhappy. And I caught her in many lies also, which was extremely uncomfortable. And then I started reporting that she wasn't updating me weekly like she was supposed to, because she was frustrated by me, which is fine, but it's still your job. Like, I still want to hear about my child. I still want to know what's going on in his life. She didn't tell me how he was doing in the program. She just seemed like a very young, immature therapist. And so, no hard feelings, obviously. I hope that she grows from the experience. I know I've grown from the experience. I think her and I were both frustrated with one another. I don't think we have the same communication style. I just don't think we were a good fit for one another. My son did trust her to an extent, but ultimately he said at the end that he didn't feel like she was a good fit either, and he felt like she was constantly creating issues. And so ultimately it was him who got to pull the plug on it, and so he got a new therapist. And it's not just like a random new therapist, it's a therapist he's been working with. And so his new therapist seems very level-headed. She understands what my concerns were from the past. She understands my feelings. She understands where I'm at. She knows, doesn't have the expectation for me not to parent. She knows I'm always going to be mom. And I told her I have nothing to hide. She's always welcome to be in on me and his conversation. I encourage her to put him on speakerphone when he talks to me, even though it can be a private conversation. Hello. And so, yeah, so I've always encouraged her. I said, I'd like to hold him accountable. I don't want any manipulation going on. So, you know, always feel free to listen in on the conversations. If you hear any discrepancies of what he's working on in therapy versus what he's telling me, we need to be working together. And so his new therapist, I'm very hopeful her and I will work together. I hope it's a really good fit for him. So far, he seems to be doing well, and he's made some really mature decisions since she took over. So honestly, I think it's been a positive change. I've seen positive growth in him since the change occurred, and I'm very hopeful. So I'd like to see how it goes, how, you know, it goes moving forward. Okay, sorry, I think I missed some questions. So, okay, how are your other children handling the situation? So my other kids are all really close with one another. They're handling the situation very well. They don't really speak about him. I'm sure many of you seen my video where we took down the photos in the house. Sorry, my hair tickles my neck sometimes, so I move it a lot. But we took down his photos in the main living areas of the house because that was really hard on the kids and it made them have mixed feelings. So over time, they had asked several times if we could take down his photos, and I really struggled with that because he is still my son, and I still see, when I see him up on the wall, the really good parts of him, the things I loved about him, like his band, his baseball, just like I saw all the good things in him. Sorry, this still makes me emotional. But it was really hurting my other children to see his pictures every day, and they felt like it was just a reminder of his failures, and they felt like it was a grieving process where it was a reminder of somebody that they lost. So they asked if we would please take down the photos. And so we took down the photos, and we didn't take them down in our bedroom. We still have family pictures in there, which our kids are fine with because they don't go in our room. We don't go in theirs. Really, I mean, if we need to, we do. They're welcome to come in our room, but they just don't go in there. And they know that the pictures are in there, and they're okay with it. But I just felt like after 2 years, so right before the episode aired, we finally decided to go ahead and take down the photos because the episode was going to air and it was just time, and I needed to respect my other children and their grieving process as well. For me, I left them up because I wasn't ready to take them down. For me, I grieved a little bit differently than they did, but honestly, they're doing really well. Their therapists say that they're not really traumatized by the whole situation, which is great. They're handling it so well, and there's so many of them. There's still 5 children in our house, so they all lean on each other, and they have each other, and they have so many new memories that honestly they have moved forward. They've made such amazing progress, and we don't talk a lot about Robbie. They do hear when he calls me sometimes, and if they don't want to be around, they'll just leave the room, which is fine. My husband and I sit and talk to him together generally, and we just respect everybody's boundaries. They know that if they want to talk about him, that we can talk about it. They know that we don't have to talk about him, though. We did just have a tough conversation the other day with the kids, and they said that maybe when they get older that they would be open and willing to having a holiday with him now, whereas before they didn't want to have anything to do with him whatsoever. They didn't even want him using their names. It made them uncomfortable. They said, you can talk to him on the phone, but please don't talk about us. Please don't give him updates about us. Don't have him talk about us like everything's fine, like everything's normal. That was one of their stipulations, and I said absolutely. So yeah, so it was really difficult to make that transition, but he did learn that boundary, and he does respect that boundary. He did write them letters, and he knows not to send them here, that one day maybe, if they're willing and ready, they'll receive those letters, but at this point, they're just not there. They did talk about, though, maybe in the future, a few years from now, that they could potentially do a holiday with him, but they put another stipulation on it because the baby's so little, he's only 2, that they would never want the baby around him. And so they said they don't think they could handle it if he was ever around the baby, or if they ever saw him like talk to the baby in any way. And so, you know, like they're still dealing. They're still figuring out what they want, if they want relationships with him, what they want moving forward, you know. everybody gets to have their own boundaries. That's what's so difficult, but we respect our children. We respect their individual right to choose. We respect that there's a lot more to the story that you guys don't know or understand, that they're grieving. And so it's just a lot. It's a lot for everybody, but I think everybody in general is doing pretty well with it. I think my husband's in a much better place. He was in a very bad place, and he finally broke. He took a lot out on me, and he just like finally snapped. And then now he's been progressing towards getting his life back. And so that's been really a positive thing that's transpired over the last few weeks. He hit a breaking point where he was really hurting, and I just think that he didn't know how to deal with it. And so now he is trying really hard to move forward, trying really hard to be loving and supportive like he used to be before all of this happened. And he's also working on a new career path and just kind of figuring out what's next. What is life now? What does life look like? Instead of just grieving, trying to hold on to something that doesn't exist any longer. So that's been a really positive transition for him as well. Sorry, let me look back and see some of your comments. Yeah, we definitely all grieve differently, and I've never seen such an amazing parent. Well, thank you. You guys are so kind and so sweet. You always have such nice and positive things to say. Does your whole family, other than Robbie, all see the same therapist? No. So we each have different therapists, and we all talk to our therapist differently, and they all work at the same place, but we all chose to have different therapists because I feel like I want each person to feel like they don't have any information that they could use in that session to help that person grieve, because we're all grieving differently. I don't feel like it's fair to put all of our grief on one person when that one person would have to kind of like keep everything separate in separate banks in their head, where I don't feel like they should have to overflow between people and sessions. So I thought it best, and my husband thought it best, that we all keep separate therapists, and I think it's been really healthy doing that. Now, my therapist, if there's ever an issue, she's like the head therapist of the whole, I don't know, the whole therapeutic group. And so if there's ever an issue, like all of their therapists will talk to her, and then she might have like a session with me and one of them if there's something we need to talk about, or we'll do an extra session that week, or if I need to know anything, or we talk, like we just talk. So we sometimes will sit in on each other's therapy, and sometimes the kids want me to go in with them, which is fine. And so, yeah, so it's been really healthy, and we all just kind of work through it individually with our own therapists, and it's been pretty healthy overall. There's times where we see our therapist once a week. There's times where we just see him once a month. You know, around the holidays, it's always a little bit harder. I saw my therapist last month weekly for, I think it was 3 weeks in a row. And now I'm back to monthly, which is fine. But there was just a few things that I needed to work through, and I think we all take it a day at a time, minute by minute, hour by hour, whatever we need to do. And we're all here for each other, and we all lean on each other and talk about it. And if the kids have dreams or any situations, they always come to me. We talk about it. Sometimes we cry together. Sometimes we laugh together. You know, it just depends, but it's not all consuming. And that's the most important thing, is that we have moved on life outside of being Robbie's mom or Robbie's sisters or Robbie's brother or Robbie's father. We are moving on, and most of our focus at this point is moving forward as a family, and it's not so much focusing on what we've lost. So we're in that part of grief where we're rebuilding, and we're not focusing on the past. We are definitely focusing on the future, moving forward, and what life looks like now. And we're definitely adapting and changing and evolving. And this will actually be our 3rd Thanksgiving without Robbie. And so it's kind of became our new normal. So it's gotten a lot easier, but there's always that little piece of us, that holds on to those memories. And for a split second, when we pray as a family, we often address, we hope he's feeling loved and doing well. And so we still include him in some way, but we don't dwell on the loss of him in the holidays. So we're very forward thinking, very forward focused, and we're just kind of all getting through it together. Oh, sorry. got doctor on demand sessions. No, I didn't get any doctor on demand sessions or anything. I was not given anything. Everything I do therapeutically is on my own, and for my children is on my own. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so that's our Robbie update. Is there any last minute questions in regards to that situation? If not, we can move into the Q&A and just kind of talk about whatever. Have you ever felt any stigma from your school district, community, parents, or having a child now public challenging behaviors? No. So before we ever went on the show, I am very well respected in my community as well as my family and my husband. I am somebody who is constantly giving back to my community, so they all knew of the situation when we pulled him from school and he went to treatment. They knew about the situation, and our community has been extremely supportive, and nobody recognizes us or makes it weird. The people who do know about it, they're all very respectful and supportive, and my kids don't have any issues whatsoever with their friends thinking anything weird or judging them or any of that. Oh, you'll have to go back and do the whole update because it was a 25-minute update. But yeah, so there's no backlash from our community, or even when I go out in public, I don't really get recognized. My husband doesn't even get recognized, and you would think out of all of us that he would, because he's so unique looking, like his smile is so huge. So yeah, there's no backlash whatsoever. We don't really get recognized, and it's been all support. And as you guys see on my channel, most all comments are definitely supportive and loving, and so there's very far and few in between where you get some person who has an ignorant opinion, meaning they don't have all of the information and they feel entitled or the right to have an opinion. And generally YouTube does a great job at blocking them on their own, so I don't even really see their silly comments. Or if I do see their comments, I just pray for them, forgive them, and I move on. And I don't take their problem on as my own, because they're not my problem, and their insecurities and their inability to be compassionate and loving is not my problem. So I don't absorb that negativity, and I just wish them well and I move on with my life. I don't give into negative people. I don't enable that type of behavior, whether it's my children or a stranger on the street. I'm not going to humor them with a reaction or get upset because they want me to. People want to stir emotion in you and make you feel a certain way, but people don't get that power in my life. They don't. I don't know. Maybe that's mean, but I'm in control of my own emotions and my own reactions, and I just don't give in to those people. They're negative, and they're always going to be negative. It doesn't matter if it's my channel. It doesn't matter if it's somebody else's channel. They're just always looking for a fight. So, you know, I pray for them, and I move on. That's about it. What other questions do you guys have before we move on? I messaged you on Facebook before. You're such a sweetheart. Happy early Thanksgiving to you and your family. Aw, thank you. Happy early Thanksgiving to you guys. I'm planning on doing live potentially tomorrow. I'm not sure. I do want to kind of show you guys my Thanksgiving feast just for fun, because there's a lot of you from other countries who have asked me if I will share in Thanksgiving with you. And so a lot of you who are from the US, you guys don't know that. But on my Facebook, so if you go on my Facebook right now, it's facebook.com/Kristin_Piper_961. And if you go on my Facebook, you can see a lot of the things I've been cooking today. I did make cranberry sauce homemade because of you all. You inspired me to go ahead and try something different, so I did. And I also made a cranberry orange cake. And then I made ambrosia salad, which is a fruit salad with like marshmallows, Cool Whip, and coconut. Oh, so good. And I know I made something else. Oh, deviled eggs. Yes. So everything I made today was actually vegetarian friendly outside of the eggs, unless you are an ovitarian, I believe it is. But yeah, so I made all sorts of good stuff today, and then I'm going to start putting things in pans to get ready for tomorrow. So all I have to do is throw it in the oven and it'll be done. So I'm going to do some of that before I go to bed tonight so that I can sleep in. I'm going to put my turkey in the roaster early in the morning. A weird food combination that I like. I think somebody asked me this the other day, but I don't like a lot of weird things, but I would say I could eat avocado on anything, really. And I also really like bacon, so I could eat like bacon and avocado together. I would say is probably my weirdest food combination. Although, I don't know if you've ever eaten it on a hoagie, but like bacon and avocado, it's delicious. I eat it on a turkey sandwich. Yesterday I got a turkey footlong from Subway, and I shared it with my daughter, and I swear their turkey tasted like bologna. It was really weird. And I don't like bologna. I don't know if anybody else has had that experience, but it's very weird. White cheddar popcorn with cheese blocks. I'd give that a go. That's not super weird. I feel like cheese with everything is delicious. A lot of times I make ravioli or rigatoni, and I put everything on it. Having him around for the holiday. How do you recommend dealing with grieving someone during the holidays? So, that's hard. So, I often grieve my grandmother around the holidays and my grandfather. My grandmother was somebody who very much influenced my life. I am very much like her. She was a humanitarian, an amazing human being. And I try really hard not to focus on the sorrow, as I feel that your loved one would not want you to do that, but focus on celebrating their life. And so I actually made the ambrosia salad in memory of my grandmother, because that was something she made every year that was so weird and so unique. It's something that people used to make back in the day for Thanksgiving, and people have gotten away from it, and most people don't make ambrosia salad anymore. And so she always made it. It was such a big part of her, and it was delicious. And she also made me a veggie tray every year because she knew I loved vegetables and fruits, and I don't prefer eating meat. It's not my favorite. I do eat it, but I don't prefer it. And so do things in your loved one's memories and focus on celebrating their life versus grieving in a way that is sad, and try to stay positive and forward focused when it comes to grief, and you will get through it in a positive way that is, I'm not saying don't cry. I'm not saying don't miss that person or to not feel that loss, but also remember to smile. Smile through the tears because they were so loved and so incredible. When I think about my grandmother, I just adore her so much, and I always get emotional. I love that woman so much, and I'm so much like her, and so I just focus on those positive things and how much she shaped me, and I just think about the things I can do to really honor her memory and make her proud. And so those are the things I recommend to get through the holiday. The first one's hard, the second one's hard. I mean, they're all hard. All these holidays without them is hard, but they each get a little bit easier. You never get over the grief. You just learn to live without them. Yeah, make homemade eggnog. Do something fun and in their memory. Like, it is not hard to make eggnog. Look up a recipe online. It is so easy. Make some eggnog in their memory. I think it would be really fun and good for you. And you're definitely not a downer. It's okay. You're allowed to have grief. We're all struggling. We all have our own struggles, and we should be able to come together and talk about them. This is not just about me and my struggles. I am here for you guys the same way you guys are here for me. So please never feel like you're a burden, and never feel like you're not allowed to have your own grief. And if you ever need to reach out, you can contact me on social media. I always reply. I never ignore anybody. I love and appreciate you all so much. This is seriously not about me. We are a team together, and you guys are amazing. So never forget that. Please never feel like you're a burden. Okay, sorry. Hold on. My favorite part is the dessert. How much do you love dessert? Okay, so I posted a thing on Facebook earlier today about pumpkin pie and how you like your pumpkin pie, how much whipped cream you like, and I love mine covered in whipped cream, but I don't like crust. I'm not really a dessert person, so the ambrosia salad is like a fruit dessert, so I really do like that, but I'm not much of a pie eater because I don't really like crust. I think crust is just not necessary. I do like me a good cheesecake. Those are hard to come by. And what else? I like the occasional cookie, but I'm not really much of a dessert person. I know, I'm boring, but I do like pumpkin pie without the crust. I could eat something with avocado too. Oh, sorry. In the early 80s, neurologic program was used for rapid onset hypnosis. It's lost its glow. I haven't heard of it for years. My dad died 3 years ago, and I always like cooking his rice porridge recipe to remember him. That's really awesome, for sure. I think that's a great way to like honor your dad and my grandfather. So when I was younger, he always had chocolate covered cherries. So every year, like, I'm so sick of them now because I eat them every year. He grew sick of them too, but I always have to get a box and then I eat the whole box by myself. My kids can have their own box, but they can't touch this one box because the one box is always eaten in his memory. Or if I decide to share with them the same way my grandfather shared with me, it's something that we all sit there and I talk about him, and then I tell them we're eating this in his memory, and then it becomes something really special that I can share with my kids the same way my grandfather shared in it with me. So definitely food is a great way to connect with past loved ones. When I tried eggnog for the first time, I was 6. I remember being confused because if it's just me, but eggnog tastes so unique. Eggnog is definitely different, and there's all these different ways you can serve it. I'm learning about it, and so I made it last year and it was really delicious. And this year I bought 2 containers that I didn't make, but I did buy the stuff to make it, so I plan on making it tomorrow and serving it, or maybe this evening before the kids go to bed since everybody's staying up a little bit later. So I just haven't decided. Maybe I'll make some eggnog while I'm preparing my dishes for tomorrow. It could be fun, and I'll let the kids, of course, be involved because I always like having them involved with stuff. Ooh, ice cream inside of a cake sounds really delicious, actually. I've had cake with ice cream, I think, layered in it one time, and it was pretty delicious. I'm not much of an ice cream eater. However, my family owned an ice cream shop, and so I grew ice cream. I just got sick of it over time, I think. But if I was to eat ice cream, I do like butter pecan and cherry Garcia, and maybe some mint chocolate chips sometimes, or just a classic ice cream sandwich. That'd be my go-to for ice creams. So what else do you guys have? What other questions or worries do you guys have, or what do you guys want to talk about? I have a few more minutes before I'm gonna go work on my dishes, and the kitchen is so clean. I got it spotless in preparation of tomorrow, but I still need to get, oh, I gotta lay my rolls out or they're not gonna rise. I got a lot to do. I just thought about it. I don't know why, but I really despise almonds. I love almonds. Is it weird if I make food in memory of a past loved one, it would make me sad and feel guilty because they can't have it anymore? I'm an emotional person. So when you pass away, you don't eat anymore, obviously, but you eat it in their memory, it's not like you're rubbing it in their face or making them sad. They're there enjoying it with you. So I don't think that it's sad or that you can't eat something in their memory because it seems selfish. I think we eat in memory of them because it's something they would want us to continue to enjoy, because it's something they enjoyed so much and shared in with us. And so once they're gone, I still think that they would want us to continue to eat things in their memory and enjoy things while they're enjoying it differently with us. So they just enjoy it differently. But they're still around us, right? So yeah. Trying to see what else you guys wrote. Work on homework. Definitely. Oh, that's awesome. I hope you do well in your schooling, and I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. If you don't hear from me tomorrow, sorry. I just got busy with my family, but you're welcome. I definitely think we all have to inspire one another to think about things differently, and I think it's easy to kind of let grief control us, and sometimes we all grieve differently, but sometimes we just need a little bit of help looking at things in a different way, and it can be encouraging. I have learned a lot over the years, and I don't think I always would make things in my grandmother's memory at first. I think that was really hard for me, but now I try really hard to be forward focused. And actually, I still need to get the vegetables from the store. They're only open for another 45 minutes and then they're closing. But my kids would like a vegetable tray. So I think I'm going to surprise them with a little mini vegetable tray because it's something she would have done. And so they really love the vegetable tray the same way I did when I was a kid. But we have so much food for tomorrow. I'm doing an olive tray. I'm the only person that likes olives. I love olives. And most of my kids don't really like them, but I think they're quite delicious. And pickles. Did you ever look at a toddler doing very questionable stuff and just wonder what is going on in that child's head? Oh, all the time. I have a 2-year-old. And every day he's doing things that I'm like, why are you doing this? He is so bad. He's so bad. He keeps me on my toes. So all the nights that I'm not on live, it's probably because my toddler is being a toddler. So, yeah. Aw, well, I'm glad you didn't run away. Running away is not an option in dealing with things. It is a temporary solution for a much bigger problem that needs dealt with in a different way. So I'm happy that you didn't run away, and I'm happy that you were able to get help. I think that's awesome. But yeah, no, I always look at my toddler. Like, he likes textures, so he's on the spectrum too. And he loves different textures, so sometimes he just randomly licks things. Like, the other day, I caught him licking the can of yams. And I was like, why are you licking the yams? Like, what is going on in that little brain? And he also has licked my husband's jeans. He likes the texture of denim on his tongue. Cracks me up. I'm like, stop licking things. He is so funny. Meanwhile, this same child knows his full alphabet, can identify all his letters, all of his numbers. He's been able to do that since before he was 2 years old. He's now able to identify some of the 50 states on a map. Like, crazy intelligent, but he does the weirdest, most questionable things, definitely. What's your question, Sarah? My experience the first time I did a live stream, I don't really remember. Honestly, I don't remember my first live. I'd have to go back and revisit it. I think I was a lot more nervous the first time, and now I'm just kind of like, whatever. I am perfectly imperfect, and you guys all accept that about me. And as long as we're not putting me up on some weird pedestal thinking that I'm like better than I am or that I'm not human, then I'm totally fine with doing lives. I don't feel fearful to be myself anymore, and I don't really feel overly judged or overwhelmed. And now, honestly, even if I was, I don't think I would care. So yeah, so I think I was probably just more scared, more nervous, but now I'm not. I don't really care anymore. When my brother was 3, he used to stow his hand in people's mouth when trying to sleep, so we had to force our mouths closed. That's so funny. That's funny. What other things does the baby do that's weird? Oh, he likes to turn on the Roomba, and then he likes to stand up on it, and it turns in circles, and he just stands there and rides it in the kitchen like a robot. Like the robot that cleans the floors. Oh, he makes me bananas. He rides that thing all the time. He thinks that it's his own personal, like, pet or something. I don't know. But every time we turn around, he has the Roomba, and he's carrying it around the house. He drops it somewhere, turns it on. You would think I have the most sparkling carpets, but he doesn't leave it in any area long enough to actually be effective. But he loves the stinking Roomba. Oh, it drives me bananas. I am ready to, like, throw the Roomba out the front door. Like, that's how much he plays with it. But honestly, he could be doing worse things, so it's kind of cute. And he also, today, we made French toast for dinner. And if you guys haven't done this before, I cheat when I make French toast. If you go to Walmart in the bakery section, they have apple cinnamon brioche bread, or they also have like chocolate almond brioche bread. So I go buy my brioche bread from the bakery, and then I chop it up and I make French toast out of apple cinnamon brioche. So today he helped, and he was taking all the bread, he threw it in the egg, and then I would dip it, and then I'd put it in the pan. So it was really cute. So I just try to find really good, constructive ways to use his energy. They have lawnmowers. Oh yeah, they do have lawnmowers now that are like the Roomba. I've never tried it though. Well, thank you. I am imperfect. I am perfectly flawed. I love using that kind of bread for French toast. Yeah, a lot of people don't think of it. It was an actual mistake. I saw it. I was like, this would make bomb French toast. And then I just started buying it. And ever since, that's how I make my French toast. Plus, I like it because I can slice it as thick as I want it. And I personally like my French toast to be 3/4 of an inch or bigger. So maybe like up to an inch. But yeah, so... sorry, I was reading a little notification. Favorite color is a shade of blue for sure. Maybe like a teal blue or something pretty like turquoise, aquamarine. I like blue. I used to be a pink girl, and then I grew up, and then I'm like, I don't like pink anymore. It's not really my thing. I don't really like pink but I do wear a lot of purple. I'll say that. I do. I noticed I wear a ton of purple. There was like one week where I swear I wore purple every day. Black and pink are pretty together. White, she said it last time. No, white is not my favorite color. I've never said white. It's definitely blue. but I wear a lot of blue too. And I also like yellow on me, but it's not my favorite color. I just kind of wear it sometimes. But yes, I love this shade of purple on me. Mine is white and black. White and black are pretty together too. I like to wear black because it's slimming and it hides your flaws a little bit better. So sometimes I gained 10 pounds back, which is kind of sad, but it's okay. I embrace my perfectly flawed body. But sometimes if it's just a little bit more squishy, my belly, I like to wear black because it hides it a little bit better. But I'm okay with being flawed. I don't have this need to be perfect, and you guys know that, so it's totally fine. My husband prefers me with the 10 pounds on, but I like to be about 10 pounds thinner. Because the 10 pounds go straight to my belly. When my Wi-Fi turns orange, it makes you mad. That's funny. I don't have the greatest confidence in the whole world. I know it seems crazy and people tell me all the time that I should be more confident, but I actually was somebody who was bullied during high school because I was not into drugs or alcohol. And my high school my graduating class was 40 people and half of them went to Votech. So I had a slim picking group of individuals who I went to high school with, and they all did drugs and alcohol, and actually a lot of them have died. Like 4 people from my class, so like 4 of the 15 have overdosed. And so I just never really fit in, and I was bullied. And I remember there was this one girl who I'm not going to give power to by naming her because she doesn't deserve that kind of power, but she used to bully me about my feet, and I still to this day like don't like my feet. And so it bothered me when I was in high school because she was like, you shouldn't wear sandals, your feet are ugly. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this girl is so mean, right? So I hated my feet, and so now I always keep them polished, so my toes always are polished, but I still have ugly feet. But now I'm like, these are my ugly feet. I don't care. Like, I own them. I am a sandals girl or a barefoot girl, and I don't care. She can hate my feet. I'm gonna embrace them. But yeah, and then there was a lot of other insecurities I had growing up, and I was actually like pretty thin, and I had the littlest belly rolls. And I got a little belly roll, and I got bullied because I had a tiny belly roll. And so I was like, I thought I was fat. I was very insecure about it, and I actually did not like myself, and I was like a size 5 or 7. And it just makes me so sad to think back that I had such negative body image because of other people. But now I'm just kind of like, you know what? This is my body. It's been through hell and back, and it's mine, and I'm gonna own it. And even like my stomach, I have stretch marks from having a baby. Well, I had 3 babies, but the first one's what really did it. He was 9 pounds 2 ounces, huge baby. Okay, so and I had a C-section, so it ruined my whole stomach. But I wanted plastic surgery for the longest time, and then I was kind of like, why am I hiding who I am? Like, it's okay. It's okay. My stretch marks, I earned those by carrying that chubby little baby. Like, those are mine. So where I live, you actually wear turquoise and simply southern to fit the standards. So I tell my kids all the time that you need to embrace who you are and be okay with being different. Like, I am totally fine that I turned out the way that I did because I love myself now. And had I not stuck to who I was that person that, like, if you were bullying somebody, I would be calling you out on it. And I would be like, you don't get to bully somebody. You don't get to be nasty to them. And I would take the punches for other people because I didn't feel like anybody should be bullied. Like, I still think back, there was this girl, she was a little bit heavier. She wore an orange shirt, and they threw paper at her head calling her a pumpkin. And I was like, hell no. So I stood in front of her. I took all the spitballs or whatever, or the paper hitting me. I didn't care, but she did not deserve to be called a pumpkin. And then I put her up on her pedestal where she belonged. I let her know that those guys are a-holes, that she's beautiful, and that she should embrace who she is. And just because there's a room full of idiots, it doesn't determine her worth or who she is. And so I was always that person that I was like, oh, hell no. Like, you're not going to do this to a human being. So I just had a hard time fitting in because I didn't go with the norm. I'm different, and I will always be that person. But my kids love that about me. And I try really hard to tell my kids to be that person. Like, I want them to be that person and never change who they are. I want them to embrace their perfectly flawed selves and just be themselves. Well, thank you. I actually got bullied because I don't wear makeup. How about that? So I got bullied because I did not wear makeup. And I said, I don't wear makeup because I don't need to wear makeup. And people were like, you just don't know how to use makeup. And so you should wear makeup and you can't. And they would make fun of me for it. And I was like, are you really that bored that you make fun of me because I don't wear makeup? And then there was this one girl who cut my hair. Yeah, not even kidding. Because I had really long hair and she was jealous. So she just took the back of my hair and cut it. And that was after she had stuck gum in it. And then that didn't work. So she cut my hair. Yeah. People are jerks. People are awful. Oh, I could tell you so many bullying stories. You guys would be so sad to hear about it. But listen, like, for all the kids who watch my channel, please never, like, fall for bullying or let people determine your worth, because you are so much more than these people. That is their problem. Never accept it as your own. You are so much greater than they'll ever be. Hold your head high, stand with dignity, and be proud to be you. That's all we can do. Like, I had so much bullying going on, it wasn't even funny. People suck. That's all I can say is people suck. Girl, yes, people are rude. They deserve to be called out. Bullying is dehumanizing. Absolutely. Bullying takes lives every freaking day, and it's bullshit. Like, such bullshit. What? Oh, great to see you. Like, quitting, happy you're back for now. This is what I meant by be a mom. Show your kids the light, even in the darkness of society. Absolutely. But yeah, so there was also a time where they took human urine, dumped it all through my locker, ruined all my books. I carried those books to class, had no idea. And I was like, what is that smell? And everybody was like, what is that smell? And then I was like, I opened my book and I was like, what the F? Like, my book is wet. And then everybody just laughed. And I just, like, ran out of the classroom and I was like, I can't do this. It was awful. That was like maybe 11th grade, I think. Yeah, people suck. And I think it's so funny. And I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get it. And then at home, like, I was being abused and there was a lot going on. So it was just a lot to deal with. It was a lot to deal with. And that's how I got my strength. That's how I got to where I am. So I'm not upset about it. I'm grateful for everything. It taught me how to be. It taught me how to be more human, how to fall apart, pick myself up, and put myself back together. And it taught me how to be okay being myself. So I'm grateful. Aw. That's cute about the blue marker thing. You don't wear makeup, not because you need it, but because it's very hard to find girls like that. That's cute, though. I would totally smear blue all over my face, and I'd be like, blue what? This is how you be cool. Say something. Like, that would be me. That's just who I am. So, yeah. Yes, I definitely don't get bullying. I will never get bullying. If you're somebody who is bullied and you need a friend, I have plenty of kids who will put you up on your high horse and tell you how great you are. Because, yes, yeah, human urine. Gross. But, yeah, like, they did so many things to me. They put dish soap through my books. I went through 3 sets of books that year. Yeah. But, yeah, come at me, first graders, right? Kids are so cruel. First grade, it's more innocent bullying. Once you get into high school, it's intentional bullying. And maybe, just maybe, there's a bully watching this, and I hope that it's inspiring for you to not be a bully. I hope it's inspiring for bullies to change their heart and realize that the cool thing to do is truly to embrace people for their differences, accept people, and love people, because love is so much harder than hate. Loving people and just choosing to love people, even when they're not deserving, is way freaking harder than hating somebody. Anybody can find something to pick apart about a person. That makes you weak. It doesn't make you somebody who's admirable. Maybe you seem cool in the moment. Maybe you seem like that's the cool thing to do. Dare to be different. Dare to be cool because you deserve to be cool, because what you're doing is actually cool, and be a better human being. Do you know some of my bullies have come to me after high school and said, I'm sorry for what I did, and have asked me for things, and I'm like, I forgive you, that's great, I wish you well. Like, I forgive people because they deserve forgiveness, but respect-wise, as human beings, some of these girls that I've seen from high school are still bullies, and they're adult women. And I'm just like, guys, this is 2020. Why are we still talking about negative body image? Why are we still putting down a stranger on the street? Why do you care what the lady at Walmart's wearing? Why do you care if somebody doesn't live up to your standard? What is wrong with society that we are judging each other and that we feel entitled to do so? I don't get it. I don't get it. I love all the weirdos, all the people who dare to be different. I love you all so freaking much. Come to me because I'll be your friend. Like, it's fine. Like, why do people care so much? Like, let's be different. Let's all be weirdos, individual weirdos, okay? Like, I am not going to change who I am. I'm cool with it. If people have a problem with it, they just have to move on because I'm me. I am uniquely me, and that's just me. The grocery store is going to close in 30 minutes. You're absolutely right. But I live like 2 minutes away, so I should be able to get there. At the time I used during quarantine was towards how to fight since I was in a toxic friend group. Yeah, so we all build our tolerance at a different level. Any idea what those bullies are up to now? Not surprised. So a lot of them are drug addicts. Some of them are dead. And some of them still live in the same lonely town and haven't done much with their lives. And yeah, not really a lot. There's a few of them that are semi-successful, but nobody's really like become the president of the United States or anything. So, I mean, there's that. So I actually went to school for teaching. I cannot tolerate teaching. I just can't do it. I have a weak immune system, and when I was in student teaching and in classrooms and like preschools and stuff, I got so sick all the time, and I would get over one sickness and just get the next sickness, and it was like this never-ending like cycle of me being sick. And so I was like, I can't do this. And I love all the kids like I do, and I have somebody who's near and dear to me who I have a lot of teacher friends, ironically, and so I can always go into their classrooms and visit because they love having me just to have me. And so I always go in and talk to their classes or say hello or whatever. So yeah, that's another thing. We shouldn't have pressure on us on what makes us beautiful or what we should do or what we should wear. I have like a little bit of mascara on. I'm pretty sure it's clumped everywhere. I don't care. Thanks. I want to go on Big Brother, but just because it's my dream. But other than that, I don't think I could do acting. I'm too authentic. And if I had to read some line and be like unauthentically me, I'm not sure I could. I'd probably start laughing. I'd probably just be a hot mess. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that I could pass as an actress. I'm not that great at acting, but, and I actually have a public fear of speaking. I know you guys like don't see it, but I think if I was being recorded, I'd be, I guess I am now, but I guess you guys, I'm a hot mess, but I don't know if I could do it. I don't know. It seems like a lot of pressure to be an actress, but I appreciate the compliment. You guys are sweet. Not talking politics. I'll just drink my coffee. Well, hello! Welcome to my channel. I'm just a hot mess that's not afraid to be myself, and I like to spit positivity and happiness and encourage other people to be loving and happy. And, thanks, Jake. I actually never public spoke in high school because I was so afraid of my peers that I always would stay after class and do my speech privately because I just couldn't handle public speaking. And I have built a tolerance for it for sure. I don't have a plan to come to India. I might one day, not anytime soon. But yeah, so I built a tolerance for public speaking, and I think it took me hitting my 30s to be like, I don't care. This is me. Take it or leave it. But either way, I'm okay with it. Yeah, definitely. You can always feel comfortable on my channel because we embrace uniqueness, we embrace being different, and this channel is always going to be positive. I'm always trying to be positive and encouraging, and I go on these little rants. They ask me all sorts of weird questions, and I love it. Like, I don't know. So you didn't see it because you're new to the channel. But if you haven't already, subscribe so then you can get all my weird videos. But I had to talk about fighting ducks. If there was like 7 ducks and I had to fight them off, how I would fight them off and how many total ducks I think I could fight. So yeah, so that happened on my channel. But yes, we're just having Thanksgiving, me, my husband, and the kids, and we always have holidays ourselves. It's a huge thing. There's so many of us that we don't need anybody else. We're plenty good with us. So yeah, we always have a little quiet holiday, and then we eat, and then we eat some more, and then we nap, and then we eat some more. And yeah, we just eat a lot, and at some point we put the food away, and then I feel like we get it back out. So, yeah. Oh, yes, I'm totally fine. I'm 100% comfortable in my own skin. I have worked through all of my childhood traumas. I am good, for real. I honestly, I'm okay. Like, I am on, my therapist always says, you are on the faith train. Who will watch? Kevin Hart's pretty funny. So we haven't got to visit him since he switched because of COVID. We were on our way. We were 40 minutes away from being there, and they called and they said that there was a COVID case and he had been exposed, and we had to cancel our visit. That was a couple weeks ago. And yes, I have a ton of childhood trauma. I just went through some of it, but I was severely bullied. My parents were abusive, and I was also abused by a perpetrator. So yes, I have an extensive history of childhood trauma, but I've overcome it and I'm better because of it. So yeah, for sure. Hi. So, okay, I've got 20 minutes to make it to the store and back and throw a whole bunch of vegetables in my cart and a thing of sour cream and ranch. So I'm gonna jump off of here. Don't worry, I'm middle school. Me too, ate so much, still skipping mother lover. Oh, it's okay. Don't feel bad for me. I'm totally a better person because of it. I embrace what made me me, and I'm 100% fine with it. I know that I went through the things that I went through so that I could help other people. I understand that, and I respect that, and some of us have to go through it, and I'm just glad that I came out on the other side. So here I am at the end. Aw, I'm sorry. Make sure you subscribe, and if you subscribe, I think it'll tell you when I go live. So I'm sorry. I love you also. Where definitely I'll keep an eye out for those ducks, because I am not fighting ducks on Thanksgiving. I draw the line. So all the ducks have to stay outside. But seriously, guys, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you guys make my day brighter. And I did post a new video, so if you haven't checked it out, you can check it out. It's how to deal with toxic people throughout the holidays. And share it on Facebook, because you never know who needs to hear that message. But there's always going to be those toxic people in our life, in our family. And so hopefully it's helpful to some of you to be able to make it through the holidays. Remember, it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to set healthy boundaries, and it's okay to walk away. So know those things. Love yourself always. And if you need anything, message me. I'm available, and I'll always get back to you. It might not be right away, but know that I love you. Know that I couldn't be me without you guys, and we couldn't be sharing positivity and all the messages that we share together without your support and your love. So seriously, guys, thank you so much. Love you all so much, and I don't know what that means. Available where? But anyway, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow, and we'll talk soon. All right, love you guys. Bye.